The Western Cape Education MEC has announced that they will close 2,400 teaching posts in schools in the Western Cape following underfunding by the national government of about 33% of the province's approved and allocated budget following the tabling of the Division of Revenue Bill. Teachers Unions SADTU and NAPTOSA have lodged disputes against the department with the Education Labour Relations Council. SADTU in particular has recommended to the department that they cut the 1.2 billion rand Back on Track program as well as the grade 3, 6 and 9 language and mathematics assessments. Joining us for more on this is SADTU Provincial Secretary Sibongile Kwazi. Sibongile, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. This is a difficult assessment for the department to make. Do we cut money by reducing assessments, especially in those critical grades of grade 3, grade 6 and grade 9? Do we cut down the Back on Track program, which is very specifically designed for children who missed out on schooling as a result of COVID and the impact of that? Or do we just not renew the contracts of teachers who are contract teachers whose contracts are coming to expiration by the end of the year? Which of those, as you make the assessment, do you think has the least adverse impact on education in the province?
Thank you very much, Oliver. Let me first explain about this Back on Track program. It's not true that it covers the learning losses that were experienced by all learners in the province. It's only a fraction of the learners that are part of this board program. Then what about the others? For instance, in your grade 12 classes, they concentrate on those who are performing well. What about the others? In the other grades, they are looking at those who are performing well. So for us to say that it's meant to address the learning losses, it can't be true. If it was meant to address those learning losses, then every learner who experienced learning losses should be part of the program. The second one, on systemic evaluations, these are not meant to progress the learners from one grade to the other, but it's testing the effectiveness of the system regarding the outcomes in mathematics and numeracy as well as literacy. So what we are saying is that these yearly assessments have been taking place over a very long period of time, more than 20 years. That implies to us that there is a lot of data within the department to inform any interventions that they may want to make. So during these desperate times,
just on that, interventions are evaluated not just on past data, but also ongoing and present data, which tells us if any little changes in the system may have impacted the learning outcomes in any sort of particular way. If the department loses ongoing data there, they have no sense a year or 2 or 3 from now if anything they're currently doing is working.
What we are saying, you don't fatten a pig by weighing it every day. You will weigh it, put some interventions, then check if the interventions that you have put in place are working. So we are saying that having these yearly assessments doesn't really improve the system, but it's the interventions.
Okay. Again, if you have a grade 3 learner today who you didn't assess on language and mathematics proficiency, and they go through to grade 4, potentially even grade 5, by the time they get to grade 6, you have no idea if this cohort of learners, by and large, are up to scratch and up to standard in terms of proficiency in this. All you have is periodic examination assessments, which are not sufficient. You need ongoing assessments in this. The solution you're asking for may well bring about a new problem 2 to 3 years from now. Perhaps the question here is, how does the department, by the way, the Western Cape is not the only province, all other provinces have this, how do they solve their financial crisis today?
From our part as SADTU, our belief is that no budget cuts should have been implemented for our services like education, your health, and the police. So we believe that from the national government, these budget cuts should not have happened at all. But now the challenge is the national government, or DPE National, is not our employer as SADTU in the Western Cape. Our employer is the head of department. So we can't take our fight to the national government when our employer is here in this province.
And just lastly here, we're talking about teachers whose contracts are coming to an end. So no one's getting fired in that sense. There doesn't seem to be almost immediately, and please do correct me on this if I'm wrong, a clear transgression of labor relations here, or the Labor Relations Act in particular. What is the exact complaint lodged against the department by SADTU?
Okay, as the employer and SADTU are part of the Education Labor Relations Council, we have a collective agreement, which is Collective Agreement 3 of 2018, where we agreed that every teacher who becomes permanent, who has been 3 months in a post, which is a vacant substantive post, and have the correct qualifications, those people should be converted into a permanent status. So within the Western Cape, they have been delaying to convert these teachers to permanent employment. And that would then imply that these contract educators would not be in the situation where their contracts are supposed to be terminated at the end of this year. So that is where the fight is. Instead, they would
just to be clear, the collective agreement number 3 of 2018 is with the national government, not with the provincial government. Am I understanding you correct?
It applies to all provinces.
But the agreement is with the national government?
Yes.
Are you taking the provincial government to court on the basis of a collective agreement number 3 of 2018?
We can't take the national government because it's not the employer of educators in this province. So the employer in this province is the one that was supposed to apply the collective agreement. And we've had many fights with them. Don't think that we've been sitting still. We've been having many fights with them on this issue.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Sibongile Kwazi, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. That is the SADTU Provincial Secretary in the Western Cape.